federal government brought Nnamdi to Nigeria for a case of terrorism. That is issue at stake. The onus is on Nnamdi to now question his extraordinary rendition. These are two different things. Nnamdi ought to sue the federal government, but as of today, Nnamdi is not suing anybody. Rather, the federal government is suing Nnamdi for what he did or what he was alleged to have been done. The two of them are different. It is after this case has been adjudicated upon, then Nnamdi can now question why they had to kidnap him from Kenya.
Barrister, wouldn't that be like medicine after death?
No, it's not. But you can't mix up the two cases now. You are not challenging why you were brought from Kenya. You are not.
Barrister, he did challenge.
Of course, he did challenge that, and he won in the court, and that was why the court ruled that he should be taken back to Kenya, where he was extraordinary rendition.
The federal government was to bring him for trial over what? Terrorism. That is the issue at stake now. Nnamdi can no longer come and say, because you brought me extraordinarily through extraordinary means, therefore you have.
On what ground did the appeal court say that the High Court ab initio doesn't have local standard to try him? On what ground was that judgment given?
Look at it. The judges that carried that decision in the appeal court, where are they now? Do you know that?
No, barrister.
They said,
forget where are they. On what ground did the appeal court give that judgment? Did the court grant Nnamdi a prayer that he didn't ask for?
No, Nnamdi was mixing it up initially. When they brought those charges, remember the charges that was quashed in the appeal court, 15 count charges, is those things that the DSS brought against him. And it was quashed. Even when they got to the Supreme Court now told Nnamdi, sue the federal government, enter a civil suit against the federal government for what they did to you. That was where they now brought up these charges against Nnamdi. So that is what we are talking about now. But so far, Nnamdi, I didn't hear where you are.
You have not answered my question.
I have answered you, but you don't understand.
I'm asking you, on what ground did the appeal court say that, look, the High Court, because this man was brought in illegally, you don't have the local standard to try him. And I'm asking you, did the appeal court grant a prayer that Nnamdi didn't seek? Or did he just walk into court and court said, look, High Court, you shouldn't have tried him because you brought him back in?
The appeal court, was it not quashed? It was quashed. It was quashed. Is that not true? All the charges against Nnamdi was quashed at the appeal court.
And yet the appeal court also said the High Court doesn't have right to try him.
At that point, they ought to have left him. But the federal government brought the charges again.
Of course, Nnamdi did sue the federal government, and he won the case.